More on conscience, unconscious, and getting mass groups of people to be able to do superhuman things. So, I used to, in my life, interact with people with Down syndrome, autism, severe autism, and I can remember interacting with this one individual who is severely autistic. And I remember wanting to take the same physical position of what they were doing or how they were sitting, because I wanted to maybe tap in to maybe what they're thinking. Like, I felt like, wait, if I sit this way and look to the side and listen to what they're mumbling or grunting, maybe I'll go into a different plane and I'll actually be able to understand something that they're seeing that I can't see. Like, literally, it was more like go into a plane. Because, growing up, like I've said in another video, I grew up with a learning disability label. And I have been actually around people who people would call mentally handicapped or whatever for a lot of my life. And I have always felt that it is very possible that these people literally are on another plane of thought. And I actually think this way about schizophrenia also, that they are possibly on another plane, and that it really is up to us not to disregard them as not being relevant to the conversation or to anything further than that's a mishap in our mind, and what we really want to do is think like, quote, geniuses. I've always felt like these people need to be studied more, and we may need to look at them as people who are on a different plane of thinking, and that we may understand a lot about our universe by tapping in somehow. And tapping in may not mean finding tools or finding a theory that is something that is audible, that we can write down to tap into it. It may be a series of almost like meditation that we're able to know that we did right because something clicks, and there we are. We're there with the person who is autistic, and we're seeing what they're seeing. We're feeling what they're feeling, or we're there with the schizophrenic, and we're understanding the interactions that they're having. Maybe we find they're literally in, if there's a multiverse, they're literally in the next universe, or they've gone through some plane where we're actually able to do that. And to safely come back, obviously, we would want to be able to do that so we're not stuck. Unfortunately, what we'll realize is maybe that they are stuck on the other side. So just some things that, like, when people speak about consciousness, like Hammerhoff and David Hoffman, or Donald Hoffman, sorry, I think it's really great to add creativity, to add other things into it. Something else that I thought about was like hip hop dancing. There is this move in hip hop where someone goes down and it looks like they spin around and they go down, and it looks like they're doing like they're sitting Indian style, and they instantly can spin around and stand back up. Now, for the first person, the first couple people who saw that move, they're thinking, that's impossible. Like, how can you spin around, sit down, and come back up? Like, even ice skating, like all these different things that people can do with their bodies. It just seems like impossible. Another thing would be the Swahili language, where you can put clicks into a language, where you can click and say another word. Like, it seems to some people just, oh my God, how can you speak that? How can you put a click within a word or within a sentence and put several clicks? That seems so difficult. It's a practice. It's a practice. And then what that makes me think of is, again, how siloed our areas of study are. I'm only studying psychology. Philosophy is not, science, it's an art, or, all these different ideas that we have about learning. I would love for that to just be gone, honestly, because I think there's so much more to learn. And I think the way that we've been going in science technically has made it so we use tools to get to where we want to go. Like, we use tools to have airplanes, which we've discovered is actually messing up the earth. Like, to have all these tools that we created through our science, great. I mean, I'm not downing science, don't get this wrong. I just think it needs to expand to involve other kinds of thinking, like other people from other cultures, because I think what we got really good at tinkering with things, and then we put, we have nuclear waste all over the world, it just, we could go to we're ready to go to that other plane of thinking, I think. Maybe this way we won't have, oceans of trash, if we'd stop doing the tinkering type of science. Just an idea.